She was barely a step into the golden-lit, elegantly decorated banquet hall when the waiter blocked her path with an outstretched arm and a look that sliced through her heart. This event is strictly by invitation only," he barked, scanning her from head to toe like she didn't belong. The music inside played on, the soft clinking of wine glasses, laughter, the rustle of expensive gowns and polished shoes against the marbled floor. But she stood outside, motionless, as the room she'd helped envision from her husband's sketches now looked like a fortress keeping her out. Before we continue, if you are watching our video for the first time, you're highly welcome to Elliot Stories. Please bless and support us by hitting that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell to get notified for more edifying stories coming your way tomorrow and never to miss any. Share to friends who love stories filled with twist and morals and loved ones who love respect and justice no matter the cost. Where are you watching from? Please tell us in the comments. We love seeing how far our story travels. And to other beautiful and hard-working YouTubers, let's interact in the comment section. I hope to see you soon. To our unique constant viewers, our high-esteemed subscribers, our lovely new viewers and our first-time subscribers, thank you for being part of our growth. This story was humbly crafted and brought to you by Elliot Stories. Catch you on the next one. Huge appreciation from Elliot Stories. Her name was Amanda. Tall, graceful, and poised in a soft ivory dress that flowed around her gently swelling stomach. Barely 2 months ago, she and her husband, Davis Carter, had danced in the moonlight in this very hall, praying in whispers for a child. And when the test read positive, Davis cried. The kind of tears a man only sheds when he's holding a miracle. She hadn't expected a party today. He'd said he had a dinner meeting. But Amanda had learned over the past year that Davis, her husband of just 12 months, often hid beautiful surprises behind the most ordinary moments. This time, though, the surprise came with an insult. "I said you need an invitation," the waiter snapped again, his voice drawing glances from a few guests nearby. "I'm Amanda Carter," she said quietly. "Davis Carter is my husband." The waiter scoffed. "Nice try. Mr. Carter wouldn't bring a +1 like you without notifying us. Please step back." Her heart shattered, not at the words, but at the tone. The unfiltered disrespect, the easy assumption that she didn't belong, all because of the color of her skin. Just as she turned to leave, holding back tears, the doors flew open. Davis, eyes darting across the room, his gaze finally landed on her. 1 second passed. Then another. Then he stormed past the baffled guests, pushing through the waiter, and rushed to her. "Amanda, what are you doing here? You were supposed to walk in when the violinists started. That was the whole point." She looked down. They stopped me. Said I wasn't on the list." Davis froze. Something primal shifted in his posture. He turned, slow and thunderous, toward the waiter. "You stopped my wife." The waiter tried to speak, to justify, to lie. But Davis raised his hand. "Save it. Get the manager. Now." The hall had fallen silent. Phones slowly raised. Heads turned. But Davis didn't care. He pulled Amanda close, kissing her forehead. "You belong here more than anyone in that room." Minutes later, the event manager arrived, flustered and whispering apologies. Davis turned to the crowd. "Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the interruption, but it seems an essential part of tonight's surprise was nearly destroyed." He stepped onto the small stage. "This woman," he said, pointing at Amanda as she joined him, "is not just my wife. She's the reason I ever became a man worth celebrating. When I had nothing, she gave me her everything. When the world closed its doors, she opened her arms. And tonight, I was planning to do 2 things, announce that we're expecting our first child, and hand over full ownership of one of our most profitable tech subsidiaries to her." Gasps echoed around the room. "But instead," Davis continued, his voice steady, "I'm reminded that wealth means nothing if we allow systems to disrespect the very people who helped build our legacy." He turned to the manager. "You're fired. And so is everyone who signed off on that guest list." The silence cracked into thunderous applause. Amanda's hands trembled as Davis handed her a slim leather folder with the company documents. She looked out over the sea of faces, once staring at her like she was invisible. Now, they couldn't look away. What followed was not just a party. It was a celebration of love, resilience, and justice. The jazz band picked up. The room filled with laughter again, but this time, Amanda stood at the center. Right where she belonged. That night, as the music wound down and the last guest said goodbye, Davis and Amanda sat on the rooftop, watching the stars. I didn't want to ruin your surprise, she whispered. He took her hand. You didn't. You made it real. She leaned into him. I just wanted to feel like I mattered in your world. Davis turned to her, eyes soft. Amanda, you are my world. The next morning, Amanda woke up to her phone buzzing non-stop. Social media had erupted. Clips of the confrontation were trending globally. Hashtags like #SheBelongsHere, #CarterJustice, and #BlackQueenRecognition were everywhere. Davis had already left the bed. She walked into the living room to find him in a robe, sipping coffee, laptop open, phone ringing on the table. He looked up, smiled, and pointed at the screen. CNN wants an exclusive. Forbes too. And guess what? That waiter has apologized online. Publicly. Amanda sat beside him. I didn't ask for all this attention. No, but it found you. And you handled it with more grace than I ever could. Now the world knows exactly who you are. That afternoon, Amanda received an email from an Ivy League university inviting her to speak at their upcoming conference on equity, women in tech, and family legacy. Weeks later, she gave that speech. Pregnant, glowing, powerful. She spoke about being underestimated, about the quiet sacrifices women make, and how true partnerships in marriage elevate both lives. The tech company she now led flourished under her leadership. She introduced a diversity and inclusion program that not only reshaped hiring practices but also offered scholarships to young black girls interested in STEM. The waiter, surprisingly, had reached out again. This time privately. Amanda invited him to coffee. There, he confessed he'd grown up with biases he didn't recognize until that moment. You changed my life, Amanda, he said. You didn't have to forgive me. But you gave me a second chance. Amanda nodded. We all deserve a second chance. Just don't waste it. Months later, Amanda gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. The same hall that once denied her became the venue for the baby's naming ceremony. Everyone who'd witnessed the shameful incident was there to witness this rebirth. Amanda stood before them all, holding her child, and said, "This is legacy. That's her name. Because she represents the future we fought for." Moral lesson. Justice, respect, and love are not optional. They are foundations. And when one woman stands with dignity, she shifts the culture for a generation. Amanda's story teaches us that dignity cannot be erased by ignorance, that love built on truth overcomes prejudice, and that the people society underestimates often carry the power to transform everything. This story was humbly crafted and brought to you by Elliot Stories. Catch you on the next one. Huge appreciation from Elliot Stories.